Come on, Jake Moody. Come on, Jake Moody. Come on, Jake Moody. Come on, Jake Moody. Come on. Come on. Come on. Snaps good. Holds good. It's right down the middle. And the Bears win. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Cali to Chi-Town is Bears on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Happy Tuesday to every single Bears fan in the world. Obviously, it's a very good day. It's the day after the big 25-24 win over the Washington Commanders that make the Bears now 3-2. But as always, after every single Chicago Bears win, and this one seems a little bit more special because it came against the Washington Commanders, it's time to throw your claws up, Bears fans.
In your mom, get to the back.
Bears fans, throw your claws up. Midway monsters, yeah, we all up. Bear down, that's for all us. Let me see you do your thing, throw your claws up. Bears fans, throw your claws up. Midway monsters, yeah, we all up. Bear down, that's for all us. Let me see you do your thing, throw your claws up. NFC North, we the hardest out our section. When you hear that bear down, you better get the stepping. Light it up with us, you gon' think we use them hit sticks. Feel like Jalen Johnson take this beat for a pick six. Cali to Chi-Town is Bears on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the likes. Matt Forte, Walter Payton. They sweat me like I'm Tez, cause I'm all pro in the making. So tell me why they hating. We about to take over, they gon' feel what I'm saying. We really back and we ripped off the script. Feeling like Hester when I pop off these kicks. They just mad they ain't pop off like this. We are the Bears and you know what it is. Oh yeah, Bears fans, throw your claws up. Midway monsters, yeah, we all up. Bear down, that's for all us. Let me see you do your thing, throw your claws up. Bears fans, throw your claws up. Midway monsters, yeah, we all up. Bear down, that's for all us. Let me see you do your thing, throw your claws up.
So here we go, Bears fans. I am filled with so much joy on this Tuesday. The Chicago Bears get it done and beat the Washington Commanders 25-24. And there were so many emotions going into this game, not only from Chicago Bears fans, but from the Chicago Bears organization as well. Even though Caleb Williams did not want to admit it, that, last year's loss and the Hail Mary was still on his mind, I think everyone knew deep down that this one was personal for Caleb Williams and the Bears. They won 25-24 by a last-second field goal made by Jake Moody. Want to give a huge shout out to Moody. He had the step up on the whim with Carlos Santos being inactive last second, and he had a solid night. Went 4 for 5, only had that one block field goal, but he was a huge component in the Chicago Bears win. And just knowing what we've known, or at least seen from his time with the San Francisco 49ers, we all knew the reason why the 49ers released a guy like Moody. He had a big time showing and has to be a big time confidence booster for a young kid like Jake Moody. But when you look at the Chicago Bears, they are now 3-2. And once again, there's still a lot of people out there saying, well, the Chicago Bears got lucky. The Chicago Bears are this. The Chicago Bears are that. And this is the one thing I want to say to all the Bears haters out there. Just fuck off at this point, because at the end of the day, the Chicago Bears are finding different ways to win. Rather it's in dominating fashion, what we saw against the Dallas Cowboys, rather it's in ugly fashion where they're clawing and scraping their ways to the win against the Raiders and now the Commanders, they are finding different ways to win. And that's what good football teams do. I am not saying that the Chicago Bears are a great football team, but I do feel that they are improving week by week and continuing to find ways to win. And that is kudos to the culture that Ben Johnson is instilling here in Chicago. He's already instilling that winning culture. And just like we've talked about in the past, how we talked about how losing is contagious, winning is also a very contagious energy around the organization. So huge shout out to Ben Johnson and the culture that he's instilling here with the Chicago Bears. So to all the haters, just fuck off, because last night the Bears didn't only beat the Washington Commanders, they also beat the referees as well. There was countless number of calls that went in towards the Commanders' favor, and they capitalized on that. You think about the phantom illegal contact on Nashawn Wright that led 2 points for the Commanders. You think about the roughing the passer calls, one on Montez Sweat, and I think there was another one, I think on Javon Dexter, that also led to Jaden Daniel and Commanders' points. You think about the Theo Benedict illegal formation that wiped out the Roma Dunze touchdown. All night long, the refs were really against the Chicago Bears. Not only that, Troy Aikman and Joe Buck were absolutely abysmal last night on national television. They were not sugarcoating whatsoever which side they were on. Every little thing that Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears did, something negative came out of their mouths. So to all the haters out there, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off. And once again, sorry for my language. That is just how I feel at this point. The Chicago Bears are 3-2. They're finding different ways to win. And usually the Chicago Bears would find a way to lose those football games. That's why you guys are seeing a very animated Keek on the mic today on today's episode. So the Bears are 3-2. And you look at the next 4 games, the Bears have won 3 in a row. And when you look at the next 4 games, the schedule is still favorable for the Chicago Bears to hopefully keep this roll going. You have the Saints at home on Sunday. Then you go to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Of course, they'll have Lamar Jackson back, but their defense has been sketchy all season long, and they're also a banged-up defense over there in Baltimore. Of course, you look at the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. They have been struggling all season long on defense. And then you look at the New York Giants, and I do think the Giants are going to be a tough test for the Chicago Bears, but all in all, it's a winnable game. But when you look at the next 4 games, there is no reason why the Chicago Bears can't at least win 3 of these football games. So I think the culture and the momentum that the Chicago Bears now have with these last 2 wins over the Raiders and Commanders, I think Ben Johnson's going to keep this ship rolling. I think the players are really buying in to the culture that he's instilling here in Chicago, and I think they're going to come out with a lot of momentum in these next couple of weeks of the NFL season. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the Commanders game. And there's a reason why I feel that the NFL should really beware of this version of the Chicago Bears. Once again, if you watch the post-game speech from Ben Johnson in the locker room, he said it very perfectly. He said, just imagine if we can clean up these turnovers, not only on the offensive side of the ball, but the defensive side of the ball as well. Just imagine how scary this football team can be. When you look at the offensive side of the football, they scored 25 points. Of course, 13 of those points came off turnovers from the Chicago Bears defense. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on today's episode of Keek on the Mic. But just like Ben Johnson said, if the Chicago Bears can clean up these little mistakes that you're seeing in this game and just play, hopefully, clean football, this team can be very scary. This is an unfinished product. It's still a long ways to go until things are really going to start clicking for not only the Bears offense, but the Bears defense as well. And you see week by week by week that both sides of the football are getting better, and it has a lot to do with not only the good coaching on both sides, with Ben Johnson calling the plays on the offense and Dennis Allen calling the plays on the defense, but it also has a lot to do with the players buying in to these coaches as well. So everyone is locked into the culture. Everyone is locked in week by week on what they are trying to accomplish in their game plan. And the Chicago Bears are not even scratching the surface right now. So to me, the National Football League should be a little bit concerned. And I know that for years and years and years, the Bears have been the laughingstock of the NFL. But I don't think people should be viewing the Chicago Bears like that no much longer, right? They're every single week, they're coming ready to play. They seem like they're a well-coached team. Even now when they're down by 8 points, like last night when you're down 24-16, you think the game is over. They find ways to get back into the football game and claw their way back and just remain competitive and finish ball games, right? And that's not something that we've seen from the Chicago Bears in the past. So that definitely gets me really pumped up as a Bears fan. But when you look at the offense, Caleb Williams, 17 for 29, 252 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, also had 1 rushing touchdown. I know there's a lot of people out there saying Caleb Williams didn't look good. And yes, it probably wasn't Caleb Williams' best game in terms of accuracy. I think he did leave a lot of yards on that football field last night. But look at here, Bears fans, 252 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. And the biggest stat for Caleb Williams is 0 turnovers. Once again, when you don't turn over the football, that is winning football in the National Football League. So to me, I will take that stat line any day and a big win for Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. The big storyline is DeAndre Swift. After the running game being stagnant for the first 4 weeks, you can definitely tell that Ben Johnson went into the bye week and really made a conservative effort to fix the running game, and it looked outstanding last night against the Commanders. 14 carries, 108 yards, 7.7 average yards per carry for DeAndre Swift. Also had 2 catches, 67 yards, and a receiving touchdown as well. And a huge reason why the running game looked so good was the offensive line. I want to give a couple shout outs to Theo Benedict. Looked really, really good in his first complete start at left tackle. Joe Tooney, the vested veteran, also looked outstanding. The entirety of the offensive line looked really good last night. And you could tell once again that it was a huge emphasis to get the running game going. And the Chicago Bears offense really hit it out of the park. I also want to give a huge shout out to the Chicago Bears defense. Once again, it wasn't always pretty. There was definitely some busted assignments, obviously with Luke McCaffrey wide open for that 33-yard touchdown. Obviously, Kyler Gordon had a rough first outing, a season debut for the Chicago Bears. But when it mattered the most, the Chicago Bears have been a takeaway machine on defense this season. They had 3 sacks, 3 turnovers, obviously 13 points off those turnovers. And right now, they're just turning over the ball at a very high rate. And I really felt like the pressure was a whole lot better on Jaden Daniels as well. And once again, turnovers are not guaranteed. They're not given. You have to work every week to get turnovers. And once again, the Chicago Bears defense is doing it at a very high rate. So overall, Bears fans, be proud right now to be a Chicago Bears fan. I think we can finally be proud of what we're starting to see in the vision moving forward for the Chicago Bears. They are 3-2 with a lot of football left to play. Still a long season. They still have a lot of work to do. But when you're looking forward, you have to love the vision from Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears. So give me your reaction down below in the comment section of last night's win over the Washington Commanders. I cannot wait to hear from you guys. But other than that, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. And make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for our all-new Bears podcast right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys. And as always, bear down.
Ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.